So I've been in a recent state of some real deep sadness and loneliness. There's certainly a lot happening in the collective and just personally, and I'm also menopause. But I'm wondering if I might be in a real depression based on a hormonal or chemical imbalance, or is it just my mind and old patterns? How do I know if it's just the mind or time for help from maybe microdosing of plant medicine or actually needing antidepressants prescribed by a doctor?
First of all, say I'm not a doctor, so I'm going to give you my intuitive downloads on this. Sometimes there's a really important place for Western medical and Western medicine, and that would be to get your hormones tested. And more than once, I sometimes we have to really beg for these things because the doctors don't want to do the tests for X, Y, and Z reasons, but mostly because of cost, and they get dinged. But go in, get tested. Find out, where are your hormones. I think that if you're feeling like this has gone on for so long and you're like asking the question, like, is this depression? I think that you really should feel into that, because I think we also stigmatize. I really don't like a lot of the pharmaceutical, even though I come from that, but there is a time and a place for that. And sometimes we get so ingrained in a thought pattern because of our hormone imbalance, because of life circumstances, because of all these different things. And we just need that jolt. We need that break from the mind. And yes, plant-based medicines can help, but we are the medicine. And so I think going out there, which I know you're not suggesting that, is not necessarily the integration that you need to get to the blocks and to get to the shifts. And again, I can't suggest anything medical or even the microdosing per se, but I do think that microdosing can be really helpful. It's helped so many people. And it's even, okay, let's look at it this way. Coffee. Like, I think you don't drink coffee, but coffee has an effect on the brain chemistry, right? We know this, and people are addicted to coffee, and it actually creates a positivity a lot of times for people. And so that's what microdosing can do. You don't even necessarily know that it's within you, other than you're just a little more elevated. I think everybody today needs help with mental wellness. And it's not because they're mentally ill. It's not because their life is, shit. It's not any of that. It's that there's just so much coming at us right now. And to some of the previous questions, while the external world is creating this chaos that's just like really a whirlwind, we're not getting enough touch. We're not getting enough eye contact. Everything's being relegated now to AI, to robots, like even just to get something done. Like, we have to chat online with someone, as opposed to just have that human voice that hears you and you go, oh yeah, like I had something with the airline. Yeah, I hear you. And let me help you with that. So I think that the brain chemistry for all of us is potentially, I know this is a wide sweeping statement, but a little off. And it's off because our cortisol levels are so high in fight or flight because of the stress in our daily lives. Even if you're living a blissful life, there's still a lot of stress because there's whatever it is, road rage or this, that, the other, people who are unhappy, and all of those things impact us. And what we want to do is get that oxytocin levels high. And so that is, I think, about self-pleasure. That is about eye contact with others. That is about hugs. That is about creating connection and community with other people. And so when we're alone, I think a lot of us, and I'll include myself a little bit in this sometimes, is that I'm really good at being alone, but I don't innately like to be alone. But I'm good at it because I needed to build that skill set. And I think that's great to have the skill set. But sometimes then we need to push ourselves to go out. And that's where I think the sensitivity comes in. Well, who are we going to go push ourselves to hang out with, right? It's not just to go out to be social, which a lot of people do. Like, oh, I just want to have my calendar full. I just want to go out. I just want to have plans because I don't want to sit home on another night. Again, not necessarily you, but for the collective, that's what's happening right now. People are needing that deeper connection to others so that they can feel the connection within themselves and not be so isolated. So back to your question. I do think that seeking help from Western medicine is important. I think that it'll be frustrating for you. I think that knowing that you're such a spiritual being and you're already so awakened and so conscious, I really feel like there's going to be like a resistance to Western medicine because they don't see things like you see things. And I think going in, just get, if it feels right for you, just get really clear that, you know what, I'm just going to connect as best I can with whatever practitioner shows up in front of me. I'm going to explain to them in the best, I'm going to say 3D way I can, what I feel is happening, and that I would like to have my brain chemistry tested, and get their support, and tell them, like, I really need support because I've done a lot of things and I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do, but there's just things that are really, really jostling me right now that are setting me off course. And I think just starting out with that, but not getting too deep either with them, because then you might lose them, right? Like, they're professional at what they do, but they're not necessarily the awakened being that we wish that they were. So I think, just having that, like, okay, I'm going in for this with this expectation, might also help the frustration level. But I definitely think it's all of the above. But the number one thing I would say is community with others, because we can talk about touching ourselves all day long until we get that connection with someone else and we feel like we're seen and heard. Sometimes it's hard to cultivate that energy on our own. Sometimes it's hard to cultivate the desire to even want to pleasure ourselves when we just haven't felt it. So take it seriously. I know you do. I'm kind of saying it to everyone to take mental wellness seriously, because there is so much happening. I've talked about this before also, that monitor, I call it mind monitoring, but monitor the media that you're watching, because a lot of times we want to just escape our lives and just get out there, get out of our own stories. And while sometimes that can be really helpful, it's like, what type of media are we watching and how much media are we watching? I used to think, oh, YouTube's kind of great because, I watch whatever I want to watch because I haven't had a TV, so I don't get exposed to whatever NBC or ABC wants to show me. And then I started realizing, oh my goodness, well, the algorithms are so fine-tuned now that it's just showing me all of the same things. I feel like expanding your repertoire of who you listen to, what you're watching, right? Like, really hone in on it. And then, how do I feel afterwards? I know I'm going on a little bit about this, but I feel like when it comes to me, I want to share a story. Friends, that remember the sitcom Friends, everybody loved it. And I thought it was great. I didn't watch it all the time. But what I realized was that it actually created a little bit of drama for people, where they felt like, well, I don't have Central Perk to go to. Well, I don't have that group of friends, or I don't have that whatever, or Sex in the City, or whatever these shows are, right? They're fun while we're watching them. But I think to the subconscious mind, it actually has a greater impact than what we think. Because we think, oh, well, I should be doing that. Well, why aren't I doing that? Or why aren't I having champagne at lunch with, I don't know all the Sex and the City stuff. I think I've watched one episode. Why aren't I able to do those things? We have to just continually monitor, are we looking to our external world to validate who we are? And it's common. We do it all the time. It's just how we're kind of programmed. And then just coming back to, no, I'm going to watch a new conscious series, or I'm going to watch something that I know has an elevated storyline to it that matches my vibration, as opposed to just masking my mind. And so if we get beyond masking the mind and into a vibrational resonance with programs that help us stay elevated, as opposed to, doing the dips, I think that's probably going to be the most helpful to any chemical imbalance. But oxytocin, if we could put it in the water, I think that would be really wonderful. I'm kidding. Kind of like how we did with fluoride, let's get the oxytocin. But it smiles even when we don't want to smile. It's hugging even when we're not sure if we want to hug the person. I mean, I use discernment, but it's touching someone. Just that extra gesture can be magnificent for you, but also we don't know where the other people are either. And just having that moment of recognition is really helpful for everybody. So I think that's how we pollinate the planet with love, and we stay out of our own mind mess that we get ourselves into. Is that helpful?
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you. Each week, I am so excited that you're here with me. I love having you on live. I also love having you on replay, and I would love to know what your state of the heart is, because here on the show, we get to the heart of the matter. So if you go to bethbell.me, you'll be able to fill out the state of the heart assessment. You'll get some great tips and tools and the following emails, and there's a plethora of resources on the website. There's the Awakening and Healing Handbook, lots of tips, tools, techniques, and modalities that can help you on your awakening journey. Many other handbooks. You can always schedule a one-on-one session with me. as well on the website, bethbell.me. I'm wishing you bliss and love until we meet again next week at 11:11 on Sundays. Namaste.